Right now, maybe you're in a band or you're thinking about forming a band. Well, being in a band, honestly, is a lot of work. You've heard that relationships are a lot of work being in a marriage. Well, think about being married to multiple people at the same time, and you ain't getting no nookie. Well, unless you got some kind of weird thing going on in your band. But generally speaking, the members of the band are just all friends in a relationship trying to build something together and be successful most of the time. But there are 5 things that will really break up a band and that will break it up very, very fast. But there are some ways that you can change things and probably survive these footfalls. Now, the number one reason that bands break up is ego. Yeah, I'm talking about ego. You know, the guy in the band, he already thinks he's a rock star. He may be a good guitar player, a good singer, whatever, but he's egotistical and he just doesn't want to work with anybody else. Well, if you're one of those type of guys, let me give you advice. You need to be a freaking solo artist. That's what you are. So if you're a prima donna, you think that all your ideas are the best, you don't care about anybody else's ideas and all that stuff, you should get out of the band. And if you're in a band and you've got somebody like that, you should probably just cut them and find somebody else, because they're eventually going to leave you behind and be your downfall. These are just the facts. Plus, egos rub people wrong. I'm telling you, I know. I had an ego when I was in my band Pain Cylinder, so did my guitar player Jesse Hunter, and we banged heads because we both wrote the most songs along with a friend of mine, Jonathan Morrison. So Jonathan was kind of the producer on the side, but me and Jesse were the guys doing all the music and doing it, so we fought head and tails about which direction the music was going to go. Should it be like this? Should it be like that? And honestly, if we both would have been a little more accepting of each other's ideas and willing to work together, the band probably would have stayed together. So in essence, egos kind of broke up our band, although there wasn't really that many places to play heavy metal here in LA anymore, and I was just like, there ain't nowhere to play, so I just said, screw it. But having an ego, honestly, the number one thing that can destroy your band. If you honestly think that you're better than the rest of the players, you want to do things on your own, you don't like their ideas, you should not be in a band. You should be, like I said, a solo artist, honestly. Now, the number 2 reason that bands break up, you might think it's kind of crazy, is actually money. And there's a lot of reasons why money is a big factor in why bands break up. First of all, rehearsals, finding a place to rehearse, paying for your equipment, paying for gas to get to the gigs. For a long time here in Los Angeles, it was pay and play. So basically your band had to play and go sell your own tickets. So you'd go buy tickets and then sell those tickets to get your cash back, which means that, well, if you don't have any money and nobody wants to come see your band, well, you're out of the cash. And enough of that, and the band will be so angry at each other that they will completely break up. Plus, getting equipment, if you don't have even a little bit of cash to get equipment, then you really can't be in a band, because even though you don't need expensive equipment, you definitely still need to have even some basic equipment to be in a band. And let's just face it, equipment costs money. And if people don't pay their dues, let me tell you this, like we used to go to the recording studio and some guys would show up and they'd be like, oh dude, I'm sorry man, I don't have my money bro, I'll get you next week dude. What a bunch of bullshit, man. You're here, we're supposed to be a professional band, you should have brought your cash and paid your dues. Now, enough of this. People want to get rid of a member of the band. If you can't replace that member, then once again, your band will break up. Now, the number 3 reason, this is definitely something that you have to consider. The band and all the bandmates are not on the same page of music. Now, what do I mean by this? Well, let's put it this way. You have a bass player who's into funk. You have a drummer who's into jazz. You have a guitar player who's into metal and a singer who's into soul. And every single one of these people, even though they're in that band, are pulling in a different direction. The drummer, he wants to go play in whatever band and style of music he's doing. The guitar player wants to do that. Everybody wants to do their individual thing. So you really need to consider this. If you look around in your bandmates and you see that all your bandmates are off doing all these side projects that don't relate to yours, I don't really think that band's going to survive. You guys all need to be a band. And like I said, this band thing relates back to, once again, the number 1 thing, ego. When you're in a band, everybody gets a say. Everybody is an equal. You're a team working together. If you can't get that through your frickin' head, you honestly should not be in a band whatsoever. And being on the same sheet of music, making sure that all you guys are going in the same direction, you like the same music, you like the same things, you guys want to do the same things together, this is really, really important. You might not think that is, you might think, oh, it's cool, we'll just keep this jazz bass player because he's the guy right now. But that's what you just said. Listen, he's the guy right now. You don't want a guy for right now. You want a guy who's going to be your teammate, who has your back. Just like in the military, you know a homie's got your back, you know? You know your bass player, drummer, they're going to be there. They're going to be driving that rhythm section for you and your singer, you know? So it's very important that you guys are all on the same sheet of music. You guys all have the same goals, the same wants, and the same direction. Otherwise, you'll split because you all have different directions. Now, number 4, I think everybody probably knows this. I don't really know if it's so bad nowadays, because nowadays it seems like drugs are more into pills and alcohol, but back in my days, it was cocaine, alcohol, and a lot of frickin' weed. And believe me, I've snorted a bunch of cocaine, smoked a bunch of weed, done all that crazy stuff back in the day. Now, drugs and alcohol, though, can definitely break up your band, though. The reason being is some people don't know when to say when. You know what I'm saying? You know, the guy who shows up for the gig is like, yeah, dude, it's my birthday. I just had like 9 beers and I'll try to play the frickin' songs, man. You know, this kind of stuff will really bake up a brand. And just picture this. I know a lot of guitar players in the 80s. I'm not going to name all their names, but a lot of these guys became really big superstar guys. And a lot of their downfall, Jakey Lee, was one of them, you know, got addicted to heroin. A lot of them. The guy from Rat, just so many people got addicted to heroin back in those days that they ended up just fading from the map because of their heroin addiction or using a needle and catching AIDS or getting sick. So those kind of drugs, will really kill your band really fast. Now, a band who probably smokes a little bit of weed together and hangs out together, you guys will probably be cool. But if you have one bandmate who's completely off the rails with drugs, your band will probably break up, or you'll have to recover from losing that member, especially if he's an integral part of the band. You know what I mean? Like in Metallica, when they lost Cliff, oh man, I mean, come on. Really hard to ever replace that guy because who he was. You know what I mean? Even though that guy was a party animal, he still did his job and he did it incredibly well. So, I mean, I guess there are some people that, you know, can party and party for a long time. You see Motley Crue and all these other 80 metals bands. They all seem to party really hard and do it. Led Zeppelin was a little bit in the alcohol, you know what I mean? But the guys, it seems like, who did the heavy drugs, they faded the fastest. So honestly, if you're in a band and you're a guy doing heroin, you better watch yourself. And I mean, getting a little drunk together, smoking a little weed together, you're probably okay. But watch your guys' selves. Watch out for each other, because if someone starts going down that road where partying is all they want to do, eventually their road's going to end. Now, reason number 5, this actually happens to a lot of bands. A bunch of guys, they get together in the band, they all have dreams, they're on the same sheet of music and everything, you know. No guy's got an ego or anything. These guys really want to make it. They're a team. They're trying their best. But for some reason, they're getting absolutely nowhere. You know what I mean? They're like trying to get up a snow hill carrying a weight, or climbing up a metal pole once it's been greased up. Just not an easy road. And so when that happens, a lot of people start to lose their enthusiasm about being in the band. You know what I mean? Because you guys all get kind of a negative space. You're like, oh yeah, we're doing all this work, we're doing all this music, we're doing all this stuff. Well, you know, nothing's happening. So why should I put my energy into this? And so you see people starting to, in the band, start to lack enthusiasm. You know, the guys start showing up late to practice. When they're playing in the room, you know when somebody's enthused in the music when you're playing with them in the band. You look over, you guys are rocking, you're like, hell yeah, we the man, you know? And then when somebody's sitting there going, yeah, okay, like, yeah, I'm here, but I'd rather be fishing. So honestly, lack of enthusiasm can really kill your band. So if you're in a band and you're not going anywhere, kind of just step back and look at what you're doing and just make some changes. That's all you really need to do. There's all kinds of different avenues these days to do stuff in the music industry. You can choose to just do completely online stuff. You could create a little mini studio in your garage. Honestly, you can go in your garage, get a GoCam, just get a decent little recorder for your music, make videos and make music videos. You could actually make it just from that standpoint. So if you're doing something and you're stagnant, don't keep doing it, because you know that's really the definition of insanity. Keep doing something over and over again when you know it's going to get the same bad results. So there you have it, folks. 5 top reasons why bands break up. So if you're in a band right now, or you're thinking about getting the band, you should think about these things and possibly make the changes that'll make your band a better place to be in, and hopefully you guys will be more successful. I'm Elric. Thanks for watching One Foot. We'll see you guys back here on the channel.